written a book on prenuptial agreements, which is based on research that I did in New York. I spoke to attorneys who have expertise in this area for 35 years plus, and they were able to tell me of some of the issues. One of the big issues is that there is an imbalance of power between the parties, because typically one person wants the agreement and one person doesn't. And what's important to remember is that the law we have here values care and money equally, whereas a prenup contracts out of valuing care, and that's a big issue.
So, in terms of the research, obviously you've interviewed couples before and after marriage?
I've interviewed practitioners, so they've been able to tell me about their clients and the sorts of consequences they have had as a result of entering into prenuptial agreements.
And what sort of consequences are these?
There are some very interesting stories. One example that was given to me was the story of an actress who, before getting married, said, I want to enter into one of these because I'm independent, I'm economically independent, and I'm confident that things aren't going to change. And the warning really is we don't have a crystal ball when entering into these things. We can't anticipate how things will change. Yes, she might be a famous actress now, but down the line, things can happen, things can change. People become dependent on each other in long marriages, and prenups can't necessarily take that into account.
So for many people, the concept of a prenuptial agreement is a complete anathema to a happy marriage.
Well, not necessarily. Actually, research shows that people enter into these agreements thinking that they won't actually get divorced. And again, that's an issue because they think, well, I'll sign this thing, but it's never actually going to come into effect. Currently, in the law in this particular jurisdiction, prenuptial agreements will have decisive weight, which means that if it goes to court, it almost always will be given effect to, but there is flexibility for a judge to say this person's needs haven't been met, and we're going to set the agreement aside as a result.
Now, you've written the book. Is research still going on?
It is still ongoing. In particular, I think it's important for this research to be out there at the moment because there are calls for reform to make these agreements legislatively binding. And I think getting the issues out there is important because what we need to remember is that there isn't a crystal ball to know what's going to happen. And if legislation makes this stuff binding and you can't get out of an agreement once you've signed it, people can be left in a really dire situation where their particular commitments or sacrifices haven't been taken into account.
Sharon, thanks for joining us.